Two Hip Chicks.
Boom.
Boom. Hi.
Hi. Welcome to Find Your Music Mojo. I'm TC from TKR Video Central.
And I'm Dawn from Two Hip Chicks.
And we are here to talk about tonight one of our favorite subjects. We mentioned this on the promo the other day. Dawn and I are both huge Carpenters fans. And so we are going to spend the hour talking about Carpenters, their music, their legacy, why we love them so much, and why everybody else loves them too.
And if you don't, you should. There you go.
Yeah.
We'll win some people over with this one, I hope. Yeah, for sure. So, you want to start?
I don't care. I'm hosting. You should start.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay. So my love of the Carpenters happened obviously in my youth because that's when they were popular, the 70s. We were moving from one town to another, so I was just, on my own as far as friends go because all my friends were in another town. And I kind of found them via radio and a neighbor who was into them as well. So I kind of got to listen to, actually, I could show you the first album I ever had of theirs, which was not their first album, but it was the first album that I was exposed to. And that was this one, which is, I don't know what this is titled. It's their Carpenters album. Just Carpenters. So this one had Rainy Days and Mondays, which was a hit. It had Superstar, which is, I believe, also a hit. I'm not sure exactly where they fell in the chart, but definitely they were hits. And then what I thought was cool was the back rock David melody, which was all the songs that were popular from Burt Bacharach. And so this one had an interesting, it was supposed to resemble an envelope, I guess. And it was supposed to pop open. And then on the inside, and they do not photograph well.
We'll talk about the photographs as we go through the albums.
Yeah, this was a picture on the inside. So it was not the best picture, and the haircuts are definitely telling of the time. Yeah, for sure. But it was a great album. It had great music. I think Richard did a few songs on here. I'm trying to think. Saturday, I think he sang.
Saturday, and Drusilla Penny.
Drusilla Penny is also on here.
Yeah, is on there. Yeah.
So one of my favorite songs on here, although I do love the hits, I'll give you that. Number 3 on the B side is One Love. Beautiful song. And
love
Sharon's
that song.
Voice,
that's one of my favorite songs by them. Yeah.
Sharon's voice is amazing. That's one of the reasons I fell in love with the Carpenters. The fact that she played the drums was very cool. I thought that was just cool. And the musical arrangements and the type of music they did spoke to me a lot because I just like their sound. So this was the first one.
Yep.
For sure, for me anyway. And then of course I grew into it and bought a bunch of other albums. But what was your initiation to the Carpenters?
The first big time I saw them was after Close to You came out, 1970. Became a huge fan. You see them on all the TV variety shows. They did all the different stuff. And I wanted to grow up and be Richard Carpenter, playing that piano and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Went back and bought the earlier albums and all the later stuff and remained a fan. I'm still a fan. My mom was a fan. Everything about them was perfect. They are part of my Holy Trinity, Carpenters,
Yes.
Hanson, Def Leppard. Was I
Yes.
right about yours? I said yours were
Very
Carpenters,
close.
Moody
Yeah.
Blues, ELO, and somebody else. I forgot who.
I would definitely say that Alan Parsons is in
Alan
that.
Parsons.
Yes.
That's yeah.
And ELO for sure. Moody Blues is like a close second or a hot
Okay.
fourth or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, but that's you were very close. Very close.
So we'll go through the albums as we go. Just talk about them and show them off here. Let me get my other screen up here.
Magic box.
Yeah.
Oh, magic box.
I pulled up all the covers here so Dawn doesn't. She has the physical albums out and ready. I don't have all of them.
It's handy for me because then I can look at the back.
Yeah, which is
I
good.
can cheat because I don't remember which songs on what albums or whatever. But
this was the first album when it first came out.
You got a copy.
This is Offering. This would later be released as Ticket to Ride. That picture is hideous. Richard was absolutely right about that. But their first main album was Ticket to Ride, which is this one.
It was better, but not great.
No, it's the same album. It has all the early stuff on it. You go down here, and here's the song track listings.
Yep.
No big hits off this. Ticket to Ride was the first single. It got some airplay, did below 50 on the Hot 100, and I think it hit that easy listening chart too. Most of the songs were here. This was pretty even when it came to the split between lead vocals by Karen and Richard. Richard would later take a back seat to the vocals on the later albums, but a lot of great stuff on here. Any favorites off this album for you, Dawn?
Yeah, for me, definitely Someday. Love just again, it's mostly because Karen's voice for sure, but yeah, Someday is great. I liked also. I'm cheesy that way. For whatever reason, I really enjoyed Your Wonderful Parade.
Yeah, that's my favorite solo song by Richard. I think he did a great job with that. And it's a very, very timely. Sorry, looking at the cocktail crowd and how snooty they are and so on.
Yeah.
I've always been partial to Eve also, which he wrote about a TV movie. And All I Can Do is a leftover from their Spectrum days with that 5/4 time and really some amazing stuff. Plus, of course, Ticket to Ride, always going to be great.
Yeah.
But it's Carpenters. There's not much bad on there. Next up was 1970s Close to You.
Yes.
You better look at the album cover. They hated the album cover. Richard and Karen both they just didn't do good albums.
They weren't greatly photogenic. Hey, Don, welcome.
They are photogenic. Hi, Don. They are photogenic. It's just that the photography that they decided to do was just terrible.
I don't know why. Yeah, it wasn't. They never had great pictures of themselves.
Now, Close to You was the first big album they did. Close to You spent 4 weeks at #1 on Billboard's Hot 100, and I think 7 weeks at #1 on the easy listening chart. Again, great stuff. You just did Maybe It's You. Their version of Maybe It's You, you had a short up about.
Yeah, because the Shirelles did it, I guess, originally. They were the first ones to do it. Then many others did it, and somebody argued that there were more definitive versions of it. But man, I just, I feel the Carpenters did it better. There you go. Yep. That was my short, but yeah. Just her voice.
Close to You, and We've Only Just Begun were the hit singles off this. Yep. I love Carpenter's version of Help. It's very psychedelic and very not what everybody is used to, which is nice because these earlier albums, Richard was they weren't yet pigeonholed into that squeaky clean image. So he was doing all kinds of stuff, and their version of Help is terrific.
And that was their second Beatles cover, right? Because the first one was Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, Ticket to Ride. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm also kind of fond of Mr. Gooder, even though Richard had said in that Carpenter's book that he felt terrible a few years later because he wrote it about his and John Bettis's boss at Disneyland when they played ragtime music, when they kept playing what they weren't supposed to play. but I'm kind of fond of that one too. I've always liked that one. So
Yeah, I enjoy
um,
Mr. Gruder as well. Now the one, go back down. Crescent Noon. Oh man, very moody, very just
yeah.
tugs at your heartstrings. Just it's a
Hmm.
great, great tune.
And that's one of those songs that really shows off Karen's voice.
God, her
How
range,
deep she
man.
can get. Yeah, how
She
deep
gets
she
in the
can get.
basement and then she comes all the way up to the top floor. So,
And people wonder why, people consider her one of the greatest vocalists of all time. That third album, the one that you were showing there,
yep,
simply known as Carpenters, known among the fans as the Tan album,
yep.
um, had some of their biggest hits um, on it. It had Rainy Days and Mondays. It
Yep.
had For All We Know. It had
Superstar.
Superstar. It had Let Me Be the One, which was not released as a single until the box set came out in 1989.
This is a great song.
Um, yeah, and of course, For All We Know won an Oscar
Mm-hmm.
for the writers after their cover became a big hit. It was from a movie called Lovers and Other Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, I'm like you. We were talking before the show. One Love, one of my favorite songs by Karen overall.
Mm-hmm.
She does that summer they did Make Your Own Kind of Music, which you can find clips of online, and which they've
Okay.
used clips of on their various PBS specials, and great video of her doing that from that show, and it's
Very
terrific.
cool. Hello, Patrick.
And of
Mr.
course, like you
Murphy.
said, hey Patrick, like you said, that wonderful Back Rock David medley. Which
Yeah, it
has
was
some of the
great.
best
I
stuff
mean,
on it.
it turned me on because you had just some really great music there, and it was just kind of turned me on to that to Bacharach for sure.
Yeah. So many people have recorded Superstar over the years too. That was their first Leon Russell composition. It wouldn't be their last.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, Bette Midler had done it. A few other people had done it. Bonnie Bramlett had done it. Karen made it her own. I didn't hear another version that good until 2009 when Eric Martin released a cover of it, which was just phenomenally good. But
Yep.
one of their best albums, and I believe that was the one that won Album of the Year at the Grammys that year.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'd have to let's see if it says up here. Blah 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 blah. First album with that familiar logo that became their logo.
Right. Which
And yep, 4 nominations and 1 Best Contemporary Vocal Performance by a Duo, Group, or Chorus. So it didn't win Album of the Year, but it was nominated for it. Should have won. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Fourth up, A Song for You from 1972. Right? Yes. Another album that was mixed of all different types of styles and songs. This is the album that featured Top of the World the first time. It wouldn't be a single until the singles album came out.
Yep.
But the singles at the time were Hurting Each Other, It's Gonna Take Some Time, and Goodbye to Love.
Yep.
And then later on in 1974, they also released I Won't Last a Day Without You as a single, and Bless the Beast and Children was on the flip side of Superstar, and it was well known from the movie.
Yep.
Some of their best stuff here, including, again, Song for You, Leon Russell, their second version of that, second dip into the Leon Russell catalog, and Karen delivers it marvelously, considering they were recording these piecemeal between tours.
That is amazing.
Richard talks about it extensively in that book, and
you notice that you've got, and at this point, Richard's starting to peel away from the lead vocals, right?
Yeah.
So he's doing more instrumentals. He's doing like they did the intermission, which was cute. But the
we used intermission for years as our halfway break on our movie podcast.
It's great. I love that one. And if you guys just go Google, if you haven't heard it, go Google it. It's cute as heck. Yeah, his piano, the flat broke is really kind of he's just really a great piano player. He's just really a great piano player.
I love Crystal Lullaby. Road Ode is one of my favorite album tracks too. I love
Yep.
I have that playing usually when we're on our way back from the Cape, and I always make sure it plays as we're rolling into Boston. It's the last song on the list. Love that song.
Yep.
You could tell we're both big fans of these guys.
We're totally in agreement here. We're totally in agreement.
Yep. Next up, Now and Then, which was one of those. This was the one album that was really kind of thrown together. They recorded it in like 3 weeks, and it's because they were constantly touring, constantly playing Vegas. Oh yeah, I didn't show the cover on that.
The full fold out here, kids.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get that off on. Okay, go ahead.
It is a full fold out.
I can't get you. Let me come back over
here. I think you just click on my my little man on my box, and it should work out. That sounded horrible.
There we go.
There you go. There's the full fold out. And then if you open it up, on the inside is their portraits,
which are not bad.
Yeah, they're not bad. And then of course the all the different vocals and credits and stuff. But yeah, this is a full fold out of it. Them in their car cruising through California suburbs, I guess, which is cute. It's cute. Okay, you can take me off now. He's trying to figure out how to do it. Let me do it. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah. So, I need to pull that up again. This album was only like one side of the album was a big medley. The whole side of the album.
It was like, oldies. Like it's supposed to be a radio, best hits kind of thing. Yeah. But it did. The thing is, it introduced me to a lot of these older songs.
Yeah, me too.
I'd never heard them before because I was a little too young to hear them.
Yeah, I had never heard them either, and I knew Dead Man's Curve, and I knew To Do Ron and The End of the World, and Fun, but I had never heard Johnny Angel before, and I was like, I've loved that song ever since.
Night Has 1,000 Eyes, great song too. I mean, and I'd never heard it before, but
bookended by Yesterday Once More, which was one of the 2 big hits off this, along with Sing.
Mm-hmm.
This Masquerade, their third Leon Russell catalog visitation, was the flip side later of either Please Mr. Postman or Only Yesterday, and got a lot of airplay on easy listening stations.
Yep.
And Jambalaya was a monster hit in Europe and Japan. It was never released as a single here in the States, but it hit the top 10 in the UK and Japan, which is really odd when you think it's Hank Williams. That's not what you think of Carpenter's doing.
But it's a cute version of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's great.
Really a cute version of it. It's very.
And Heather, the instrumental on the album by Richard. If you were alive at the time, you would recognize it as music from a Geritol commercial.
Yeah.
I played it on instrumental a few weeks ago. I love that song.
It's very soap opera-y. It sounds like the lead into a soap opera too,
which is where Geritol usually advertised.
Yeah, there you go.
Operas and Lawrence Welk. Sang, of course, the song from Sesame Street originally, and everybody was like, "You're crazy. That's never going to be a hit single." Well, it hit number 3, so obviously people were wrong.
What's tonight's topic? I don't know, Patrick. Yeah, you know how it is. Carpenters, maybe. Don said the guitar solo on Goodbye to Love is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The next album was the singles album. This was the greatest hits album they released in 1973.
Got my book, too.
Sorry?
I got
comes with a book. And Dawn actually found me a replacement for mine because I lost mine years ago. I thank you so much for that, my friend. This album features the single version of Top of the World. It came out and pretty much copied the Lynn Anderson cover that had been a hit on the country chart about 6 months earlier, with the twangy guitars and everything.
Make you big again. I want to show this. Here's the. This is a gatefold, or so you open it up and you get this picture of Richard and Karen. Now, this is kind of artistically done because her hand looks like it's a claw. They did a terrible, kind of Vaseline on the lens effect for that. But yeah, I had to share that. Speaking of bad photo touch-ups or whatever. Yeah, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a terrible one. Welcome to Ethel. Thank you for coming by, Ethel.
Hey, Ethel, welcome, sweetie.
And Patrick,
you guys, by the way,
show you, but I have seen you there.
Stick around, everybody, because at the end of the show, we're going to do a giveaway.
And by the way, for those of you guys who do not know it, let's give the guy some credit. Tony Peluso is their incredible guitarist. He's also the dude that does the DJ on both the medley on Yesterday Once More, Now and Then, and Calling Occupants.
Calling Occupants, okay,
Tony was just fantastic. Everything he did with them was amazing. This was the single cover for Goodbye to Love. And I mean, the guy, just brilliant guitarist.
Yep.
I saw them doing, there's a clip, you can find the clip of Goodbye to Love, them performing it live on the Tonight Show. And Tony's solo is just mind-blowing. It's just fantastic. After the singles album, they went release what is, we have both decided, is our favorite album by them, Horizon from 1975. And it's odd because it only has 8 full-length songs. Again, they were recording around touring. There's the 2, Eventide and Aurora, which are the same melody with different lyrics.
Right.
And then 8 songs, but those songs included their third and final #1 hit on the pop chart, Please Mr. Postman, and also Only Yesterday and Solitaire. And my absolute favorite Carpenters album track, Happy, which is on the flip side of Only Yesterday.
Yep.
This album is just really fantastic.
It's amazing. Yeah. Happy is great. I also like I'm Caught Between Goodbye and I Love You. Great song.
Yeah. There isn't a bad song on this album. And not
no,
a bad
there isn't
song.
Really. Love Me for What I Am, another great one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And her version of Desperado is my favorite. I know the Eagles did it.
And so did Linda Ronstadt. Linda Ronstadt had a hit with it too. And it's
just amazing. So definitely cannot say enough goodness about this.
They dipped into the standards catalog with I Can Dream, Can't I on that one too. And that was a little weird for me.
Really?
I had not heard them do it before. I love it. But I mean, it was very strange to hear them do that. And after Horizon is when things started to slide a little bit. The times were changing. We were in the disco era. Kind of Hush was 76.
I have that
singles. None of the singles were top 10. Kind of Hush peaked at number 13 or 14. I Need to Be in Love at number 25. And Goofus at number 54, I think. Which is a shame because Goofus is a fun song.
Yeah.
And I wish it had done better because I like that. But I think this is a great album. So many Carpenters fans I've read the various that this is one of their weakest albums. And I don't agree. I love Sandy. I love Boat to Sail. And their version of Can't Smile Without You, which was out a year and a half before Manilow's version, is superior to his, I think.
You think so? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I never really compared them. I guess I should do that.
And I love their version of Breaking Up Is Hard to Do too, but I haven't heard a song version of that I don't like. So,
well, Neil Sedaka did it twice, you know.
Yep, original and the ballad, and Partridge Family had a hit with it at the very end too. So,
geez, everybody's doing that song.
Yeah,
but yeah. So, what's your favorite song off of this album?
This album, favorite song off this album?
Yeah, I mean, if you had to pick one.
Probably There's a Kind of Hush. I like the way they did it. I'm a big Hermits fan, but I also love Goofus and I love Boat to Sail, which I think is a really laid back. Jackie DeShannon wrote it. She's best known these days for writing Betty Davis Eyes. Yeah. So
I like Boat to Sail, but I think I Need to Be in Love is probably my favorite track off of this album.
I like that too.
But they're all good. They're all, like you said, they've all got their points for sure. And Boat to Sail is really good. For sure.
Now we go to...
Hey, Rachel. Welcome, dear. Thanks for coming in.
Rachel, welcome.
And stick
Yeah,
around because we're giving something away at the end. I just want to make sure everybody knows that.
Passage. This was the first album in 5 years to not have the logo on the front cover. It is on the back cover in a
Yeah,
very
it's on the
small
back, but it wasn't on the front.
version.
And it was really small on the back.
Passage is an album of experiments. It is my second favorite album by them.
There's some Broadway in there. There's there's a lot going on with this album.
8 songs.
There's no picture of the Carpenters either, by the way.
No, there isn't.
Not even on the inside. It's all words.
This let them go in so many different directions. You had the first single was "All You Get from Love Is a Love Song," which just barely cracked the top 40.
I love that,
and it was a great song. Then my top 3 Carpenter songs, excuse me, "Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft."
Yeah, which is fun.
The long version is on here. This is 7 minutes. The third single was "Sweet Sweet Smile," which gave them their only country hit. They hit the country chart with that. And it was Juice Newton's first big hit as a songwriter before she became a big star her own. I love their version of "Buona She No Home" from Michael Franks, who I love. I think he's a wonderful songwriter anyway. And they did the original version of "I Just Fall in Love Again," which was later a hit for Anne Murray.
Yep.
The one thing that's really out of place on this album.
Man Smart, Woman Smarter?
No.
Oh.
The mess with on the balcony of the Casata Rosada. If they had just done the song.
"Don't Cry for Me, Argentina"?
Yeah, if they had just done the song, it would have been fine. But they have this big, long passage that precedes the song from the play. They went way over budget, which is why it's credited to the over budget Philharmonic. And it doesn't add anything. It's a little too experimental. I always skip that part of the song.
Ah. Got it.
Richard said in hindsight, he wouldn't have let Karen record the song. He didn't think she did it very well.
It's not one of my favorites of hers. I think she does a respectable version of it.
Yeah. There's so many different versions of that because everything that Andrew Lloyd Webber did in the late 70s and 80s was popular. Just as many versions of that as there was of Memory from Cats. Olivia Newton-John caught it the best for me. So, I don't know. But
you like Madonna's version?
Madonna's isn't bad. I have to be honest. Madonna's isn't bad. Never saw the film, though.
Yeah, I haven't either, truthfully.
Everything on the album is great, except for that one part of "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina." I love this. It's probably my second or third favorite album by them. What about you?
It's up there.
Now,
as far as my favorite song is probably "All You Get from Love Is a Love Song."
Yeah, I love that song too. That's one of my favorite songs by them too. Next up was supposed to be an album in 1979, but it didn't happen because Richard went into rehab to deal with his addiction to Quaaludes, which he had used on the road to sleep. Karen went to New York to cut a solo album, which was later shelved, and we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
The next album released in the group, and we'll do the Christmas album separately, was Made in America in 1981. It was their last big album and Karen's final album before she passed away. Featured their last top 40 single, "Touch Me When You're Dancing," and
Touch
also
when
we're dancing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I always do that. And then Those Good Old Dreams, "Want You Back in My Life Again," were also, and Beachwood 45789 were also singles. And I Believe You was out as a single in 1978 prior to the album's release. So I got to be honest, I'm not terribly enamored with most of the song choices here. I love the singles, although I think Beachwood 45789 was just an attempt to recreate "Please Mr. Postman," and it wasn't done quite as well. But I love "Strength of a Woman" and "Want You Back in My Life Again," and
I like that one too.
And their version of "I Believe You," which had been a hit by Dorothy Moore a year earlier, is also great. But Touch Me When We're Dancing is my top 5 songs by them. I love that song. So
The wedding song, Because We Are in Love, I think
yeah.
they could have edited that a little better or done it differently, and left out the the intro part. But other than that, it's a great song too. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. Everything you said on these, for
Yeah.
sure. Yep.
And of course, by the time the album came out, she was already getting divorced. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, Silver
yeah.
here. Welcome. Welcome, Todd.
Uh,
Oh, and Mary's here too. Hi, sweetie. My wife shows up.
hey,
Um,
Mary.
so Don said, when you talk about music, you get to see a true story. Neil Diamond. Okay, that's an idea. Don says, Evita. It's the last movie you ever saw in the theater. How was it?
Okay, so
I
that's
didn't
been
see it.
20 some years ago. Then,
Yeah.
yike.
And howdy to you too, sir. So yeah, guys, stick around. We're doing a giveaway at the end of the show because
Voice,
it won't be that much.
yeah, Voice of the Heart was released after Karen's passing in 1983. This consists mostly of songs she had done full reads on in the studio, but not finished vocals. So
Yeah.
Richard did a lot of fixing things up. Several of these songs were on Karen's solo album originally.
And there's a picture of him.
And there's some great stuff on here too. I mean, there isn't a bad song on the album, and it's a shame that it had to come out after she passed away.
Yeah.
A night which I will never forget. So
I think, well, Make Believe It's Your First Time is on here.
Yeah. I actually like her solo album version of that better.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Now was a single, and Your Baby Doesn't Love You Anymore was a single.
Yep.
I love both of those. I love her reading of Paul Williams' Ordinary Fool. Fantastic stuff. And everything else is good. But she wasn't with us anymore at this point. And
yeah,
to lose her at 33 was just almost not quite 33 was just insane.
Now, I love the last track on the B-side is Look to Your Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, guys, if you get a chance, go check some of these out, please.
The next posthumous album was Love Lines in 1989. This is possibly the best album portrait they ever did.
I agree with it.
It's actually really well done. It was shot during the Made in America sessions. Love Lines did not produce any hits on the pop chart, but it did have If I Had You, which did hit the AC chart as Karen Carpenter, not the Carpenters. And the whole album has some of the best unreleased stuff on it that is just fantastic. I love their cover of Slow Dance, which was originally done on Christy and Jimmy McNichol's album.
Oh, yeah.
And the only song I'm not really that fond of is Honolulu City Lights. I like it. I had the single of it before the album came out. But the rest of the album is standard Carpenters, and Love Lines is really fantastic. And If I Had You is fantastic. And Slow Dance is awesome. I love that song anyway. So,
yeah. Probably one of my favorites off of this one is Where Do We Go From Here, which is just kind of a melancholy. The relationship is you can tell that it meant something to her when she sang it,
Yeah. The next one, technically, let me see which date that was. The next one was Interpretations. This came out in 1995. This was half hits and half unreleased stuff. New remixes from Richard. Richard never stops remixing their stuff. There's a new album coming out with more remixes, Christmas album.
Is that what the Christmas album is going to be? Okay.
Yeah, and a couple of unreleased tracks, but most of it is just remixed with orchestra. Their version of Trying to Get the Feeling Again, which was recorded for Horizon and never released, is completely different from the Barry Manilow version that became a hit. Barry shortened it quite a bit. He took out a bridge and a bunch of other stuff for his version. The version that they do here is quite different and original, and I really like it a lot. Um, from this moment on, the only other place you can get that is on the imported album that that you posted a couple of weeks ago on your full play live at the Palladium, and really great stuff. Other than that, it's pretty much, and Without a Song is from their music television special, but most of this has been previously released and then remixed by Richard for the album.
Yeah.
The last of the releases until a couple of years ago was As Time Goes By, which came out in 2004, I think. And again, this is a lot of stuff from their television specials that's been remixed and cleaned up. Without a Song, Rainy Days and Mondays, Superstar, Nowhere Man, Dance in the Street, Close Encounter Star Wars medley, which is Richard's instrumental, mostly medleys and stuff that they did on the TV specials.
He was playing a lot.
And their version of Rainbow Connection, which is excellent.
Which is lovely, yeah. For sure. And the Momster's here. Welcome, Momster.
Hey, Momster. Now, Christmas albums first or the solo stuff first?
There was assorted issues of their hits.
That was they've done a bunch of collections of their hits, like Yesterday Once More, and Gold, and Carpenter's performed Carpenter, which is all of Richard's compositions. They did do a new album in 2018. Well, new as far as you can get. Carpenter's with the Royal Philharmonic. Richard conducted the orchestra himself and then arranged it with their original vocal tracks, and it's quite good. But it is actually one album I did not buy.
Yeah,
because I can listen to it on Spotify.
I didn't get that one either, truthfully.
First Christmas album.
Yeah, first Christmas album. Whoop, is that the first one?
This was 78.
Okay. There you go.
This had Merry Christmas, Darling, which she re-recorded for this album. She was never happy with the single vocals, and includes the up-tempo version of Santa Claus Is Coming to Town. They did a ballad version, which was included on the second Christmas album, finally.
Yeah.
But this has just got typical Christmas stuff, but it's all Karen and Richard doing it, which means it's a superior Christmas album. Superior practically everything out there.
We feel that way anyway, in our humble opinion.
Karen's reading of Ave Maria is the best I've ever heard.
It's lovely, yeah.
I love Barbra Streisand's too, but Karen's is amazing. And
my favorite, of course, on this is Merry Christmas, Darling. It's just like one of those songs that means Christmas. I mean, once you hear that, it's like, oh, that's what time of year
it is one of those perennial songs that you hear every Christmas on every radio station, even though it's 52 years old this year, 54 years old.
Okay.
So
I'll need a walker to get back upstairs. Thank you.
The other Christmas album in 1984 was An Old-Fashioned Christmas. Again, this was tracks that were recorded for that first album that weren't released, plus stuff from their specials, and the ballad version of Santa Claus Is Coming to Town, which had been out as a single in 1974. And I love that. That's a traditional for me too. I love their version of that.
Yeah.
Just amazing stuff.
Yep, I agree. The Oh Holy Night instrumental is really good on that too. Yeah. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, you're so right about that, Mary. That is not an easy song to do at all.
No. It's not Take Me Out to the Ball Game, that's for sure.
Now, there was some unreleased stuff that was eventually released on the original box set, which was called From the Top. It came out in 1989, I believe. 91. Yep. This includes a lot of early stuff from the Richard Carpenter Trio and Spectrum.
Yep.
It also includes demos. It includes a couple of pop commercials from Japan. And some of the solo stuff from Karen's solo album, which had not yet seen the light of day at this time.
Yeah.
it would later. But this isn't now. They've changed the tracks around a little bit, and it is now known as, I think it's this one, the Essential Collection, 97. It's 65 to 97.
Okay.
And so this is the one. They've changed a few of the songs out, but it's
pretty much the same
same
album.
thing. There's 3 songs I think that are different. Now the solo albums. Ironically, although it wasn't recorded until 1986, Richards was first. And we're not going to get into Richards' later albums. They're all instrumental covers of his stuff. Right. This was an original album called Time. He featured other singers doing songs that he would have had Karen perform. Right. Dionne Warwick, Dusty Springfield, Scott Grimes. He did quite a few vocals on here himself. He would later go on to produce Scott Grimes' album. But there's some good stuff on here, and I wish it had done better than it did. Particularly Calling Your Name Again and Time, which is a perfect example of Richard's overdubbing technique, because he's doing all the voices himself, and it's just amazing.
Yeah. My favorite on this album, and it is something in your
Something in Your Eyes. Yeah.
Dusty Springfield did the vocals on that for him,
and that was an AC hit too for him and Dusty Springfield.
And for me, it was just, that was out of all of that, the song that I wish Karen had been able to sing.
Yeah.
Because I could almost hear her voice singing it. You know, right next to Dusty. But it's a beautiful song. It's an amazing song, and it's just a crime that she couldn't sing it. So I know I cannot remember the name of the girl that sounds like her and sings on YouTube.
I can't even off the top of my head.
Yeah, she tried to do it, and she has a very chameleon-esque voice. She can, if she hears it, she can sing it, and she can sound like the person singing it, but she cannot transpose, in my humble opinion, she cannot transpose and bring in a Karen Carpenter voice singing that song. She does more of a Dusty Springfield version of it. So it's not the same. So it's, people say, oh, well, the chick sings it who sounds like Karen Carpenter. Well,
she
did her best. But
she does really great on 99% of the stuff. She's pretty amazing. I'm sorry, I misspoke. When Time Was All We Had was the overdub thing. Time is the instrumental. And then Karen's solo album finally saw the light of day in 1996. It was originally scheduled to be released in 1979. But Richard finally agreed to release it because it was released as is. He didn't remix it. He remixed the tracks for the ones that appeared on the box set. This was exactly as Phil Ramone produced it. And it isn't a great album, but it has its strong points. Most of which I've actually played at one point or another on one of my shows. Making Love in the Afternoon with Peter Cetera, we featured on Obscuria. My Body Keeps Changing My Mind was just on Saturday Night Disco Fever, our disco party. She does some great stuff here. I like the version of Make Believe It's Your First Time here better than I liked it on the other album. But Love Lines is better on the Love Lines album than it is here. And everything else is good. It's just not as good as a Carpenter's album should have been.
Yeah. Well, they definitely had it was a magic that worked well when they were together. And, they complemented each other. They elevated each other's performances, I think, a lot of the time. So, it makes sense. Plus, she was dealing with a lot of things physically and emotionally during this process as well.
Yeah, she was still dealing with her anorexia, trying to get it under control. And, it's just how it turns out. These 10 songs listed here with this have never been released officially, although Jimmy Mac you can find floating out there on the internet, and it's really good. I'm not sure about the rest of them. I haven't found them. So, but I've tried. Oh, I've tried. I have really tried. And And then, like I said, there's other greatest hits albums, and there are. Richard has done a couple of solo albums of their music, but that pretty much covers
Yeah.
everything as far as the albums that are not stuff that are, you know.
Just like greatest hits mixes or whatever, or different compilation of the different songs and stuff. There's a lot out there. You can get a bunch of different versions of Carpenter's greatest hits. But yeah.
Oh yeah. There's 2 singles albums. There's those 2 different compilations of Yesterday Once More, one UK, one US, which have 3. Again, they've changed out 3 of the songs. There's Icon. There's the new box set version. Everything. I mean, there's just a ton out there. So
there's some pictures for you. Which is why I like buying the albums, because
that upper left picture is the cover from the Icon CD, which you can find. Yep. Icon doesn't really have very much. It's like 12 of their hits. It's not much.
Yeah, so this is like just an extension of the singles album, really.
Yeah,
with a bunch of stuff that came out after. So yeah, definitely.
They're good collections. They're worth having.
Yeah, I just, these are, for me, the Carpenters are like the cement post in the middle of my record collection, right? Just, I got the most of them. I can go back over and over again, depending on my mood and what I want to, how I want to feel or whatever, or how I feel. There's usually a song there that'll either enhance that mood or pop me out of it or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, very much the core of my love of music is based in the Carpenters. I would say that. It's like the first group I ever really got into.
I know what you're saying too. When I did Robert Z's Lottery last year or the year before, he asked us to pick our all-time favorite artists. And surprisingly, I gave the reason why I picked Hanson over Def Leppard and the Carpenters, because I am a huge Hanson fan. Everybody knows that, and a Def Leppard fan. But the difference between those two and the Carpenters, they're still making music. The Carpenters' music is finite now.
Yeah, very much.
Karen will not be recording anything else. Yeah. And so, but yeah, what is your all-time favorite song?
Ooh, God, that's tough.
Not for me.
That's really tough. I think I'm gonna have to go back.
Go by saying. Let's do it that way. What's your all-time favorite single by the Carpenters?
Okay. So out of the singles, man, it's still hard. How about you? You go first.
Only Yesterday.
Only Yesterday.
Bar none. I love that song. That was my favorite Carpenter song from the second it came out. And Happy, the flip side, is my favorite album track.
Yeah, and Happy. Dude, it's so hard. Okay. It's just hard, damn it.
It is. It's hard.
I mean, because you know me, man. Any song comes on and I know of theirs, it will come on. I will sing along with it. No problem. Play the whole thing. And then in my mind, the next song on the album that's on the album that I heard it from originally should be next, but it's not. So that bothers me. But other than that.
Oh, yeah. We didn't mention that before either. The singles album that came out in 1973, that was the Brown album with the booklet. Richard mixed this album.
Okay.
So that the tracks flow one into the other.
Yeah.
On the original release. There is no break. It's like you're listening to one whole side and then the other whole side.
Definitely.
He has now, in the book that was released a couple years ago, he said he regretted doing that now. And that's why he's never done it on any of the successive and the newer releases of it. It has totally been eliminated. There is the reissue of it most recently in 2015 or 16. It has been removed. Yeah. So
I guess I'm gonna say I can't say I have a favorite because it changes for me depending on where I am in life and what mood I'm in. I'm sorry, I can't.
Everyone want to say cop out, everyone?
I can't do it. We've only just begun. I was saying that at my brother's wedding, and then he got a divorce, so that kind of ruined that song for me. But you know, I mean, I love Top of the World. I love freaking
It's very
Rainy Days and
hard.
Mondays, right?
It is hard. Yeah.
Hurting Each Other, For All We Know, they're all amazing, amazing songs. So it's just, yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. Um, Probably as far as off of specific album, well, we know which one's my favorite album.
Yeah.
And off of at least the album track wise, probably Desperado
Hmm.
is one of my favorite ones of hers, of theirs. Um, yeah, it's just, oh, dude, it's so hard to just pull the one out, right? It's
Yeah.
easier to look at the album and say which track would you listen to first? I'll give you
Hmm.
that. But yeah, so, and of course, I Can Dream, Can't I, which was amazing to me. I love that one as well. So, how about you? You already said, didn't you?
Well, Only Yesterday is my
What?
favorite song.
Yep.
But yeah, I understand where you're coming from because there's so much good stuff there.
Well,
And
you can't pick your favorite kid.
I think it's interesting that some other artists have had hits with some of their songs or some of the songs
Oh yeah.
they've recorded, and yet the Carpenters version is still considered the standard. George
Mhm.
Benson won a Grammy for Record of the Year
Masquerade. Right.
for this Masquerade,
Right.
and yet Carpenter's version is still the one I hear when I hear it on the radio occasionally,
Yeah.
not George Benson's version. And it was never a single, it was a flip side. So, it was fantastic. And
Hmm.
I mean, I like Anne Murray's I Just Fall in Love Again, but Karen did it really well too. So
Yeah.
the one and who remembers Klaatu's version of Calling Occupants unless you're in Canada? I mean, it's their song. They had a monster hit with it in Canada, but Carpenters
No, I
is the one
remember the
that
Carpenters version. You're absolutely right. I
Carpenters
did
hit
not
number
remember
one in
that.
Ireland with that song and became a bigger hit overseas than it was here. It peaked at 32, which I thought was disgusting. Still do. But, why do you think they're so popular?
Um, well, I think that obviously Karen's vocals.
Oh,
I mean, let's be real. That's the reason, right? I think that the resonance of her voice, the sound of her, just the way her tonal quality is, it kind of vibrates at just the right frequency for people to love it, right? I rarely find people who say, I can't stand the way Karen Carpenter sang,
yeah.
right? So I mean, they may not agree, they may not like the style of music or whatever, but they cannot knock the voice at all. And also musically, Richard's amazing. So I
Yeah.
think the combination of those two things, and they showed up at the right time, they had the right music, and it was very influential to people who are now and in the future will be producing music. It's really good. So
Yeah.
that's why people like it, you know. So
Yeah.
that's the way I feel about it.
I know Jan Arden considers Karen Carpenter her favorite vocalist of all time. And
She's
so
no
many
slouch.
no, she's not. We did forget an album, and I've just pulled it back up so we can show it.
Okay, Emery.
Um,
Yes.
it is not their album, it is the people who love them. This was
Oh yeah.
released in 1994, If I Were a Carpenter. It is alternative rock bands doing
Covering.
Carpenter's
Yeah.
music.
It's
And
amazing the people that are on that too.
yeah, I mean, some of them aren't great. I'm not fond of Shonen Knife's version of Top of the World.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. But Matthew Sweet's reading of Let Me Be the One and
Sheryl
Sheryl
Crow did an
Crow's
all right song
Solitaire
there. Yeah.
and Dishwalla launched their career with their cover of It's Gonna Take Some Time. And
But
just
you didn't
so
like
many.
you don't like the Cranberries anyway, so you probably didn't
I
like their version
but
of
their
Close to
version of Close to You isn't terrible, but
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of a lot of these acts, and yet I like what they do here. Although I'm not crazy about Sonic Youth Superstar. At first, it grew on me.
Mm-hmm.
They are, I mean, and a lot of these people, even Richard didn't like Superstar. But a lot of these people have said, we listened to them growing up. They were inspiration. And when you think of the Cranberries or Dishwalla or Red Cross or Babes in Toyland, and they're saying the Carpenters were inspirations to them. That's a pretty amazing crossover, because that went from, oh, that music is so square but successful, to, this is really something. So, but I thought we should bring that up too. It's like,
yeah, because
it's Kurt Cobain admitting that the Free design was a big inspiration of his, which I find hilarious. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
All right, before we go, number one, please, everybody, we'd love you to comment on this video once it gets uploaded. With any comments you might have about the Carpenters, please go check them out. If you haven't, you're missing a lot for sure. Obviously, TC and I love the Carpenters, or we wouldn't do a whole show on it.
No.
In fact,
can't stand them.
Huh? What'd you say?
I can't stand them.
Can't stand them. So I've got a VG Plus copy of this album right here, and we're going to give it away. So if you don't have a collection of Carpenters, this is your shot to get one. It's vinyl. Can't not love that. So what we're going to do is, TC, I think you're going to pick a number, and we're going to have people put a number in between what? There's 12 people here.
Pick a number between 1 and 20, and the closest without going over will win. I have picked that number.
Okay.
Only one.
Got it. I don't know what it is. So go ahead, start now. Put it in the chat between 1 and 20, he said. Yeah. And whoever gets closest without going over. Yes? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, this has got, like I said, this was the first album. This is not my first copy. I have another copy of it, but this is the first album that I was turned on to the Carpenters with. And this is an amazing album. It's got Rainy Days and Mondays, Saturday, For All We Know, Superstars on here, Drusilla Penny, The Back Rack, David Medley. Sometimes is a lovely one as well, and I'll Never Fall in Love Again. All good songs, plus a few more. One Love, which is my favorite on this album. Monsters in. Let's see. And if you guys put your numbers in, and if you put it in and you see somebody else has a duplicate of it, please change your number. So far, Rachel and Momster are the only two.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in the room. Come on, don't you want to win
on,
this
guys,
album?
don't be shy.
Great album.
We'll mail it to you for free.
You may actually like it.
It's a giveaway, and you might actually like it. And also, if you don't have a record player, I will burn you a CD of the songs and send it along so you can listen to them, or send you a chip or whatever you want, in case you can't. So there you go. I love selling records. Hello, everyone. Okay. Well, Wolfman's Goodies, you're welcome. We're doing a giveaway. We just talked about the Carpenters. Hopefully you love the Carpenters. What if you're overseas? Woo. Good one. Good question. I can get you American postage, but you'd have to pay the difference. So understandable. That's a heck of a giveaway. I'm throwing in American postage, but other than that, you probably have to compensate for the rest of it, hon. Free domestic shipping. Let's call it that.
And we only have 2 entries.
Rainy Days and Mondays. Yes, indeed, madame. I agree. Wrong show, Patrick. 1 and 20, honey. Between 1 and 20. I know his go-to number is 69.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
So yeah, go ahead. Whoever is interested, we will go ahead and draw that in a minute, because we only have a minute left. While we wait for everybody to put in their number between 1 and 20, TC, what's going on with you this week?
Lots of stuff. No, actually this week, not so much stuff. I'm taking most of the week off for my hosted shows, but my countdown shows will be up. TKR will be up this weekend. Hopefully getting back to normal next weekend after the 2 weeks of craziness we had with the bathroom, getting it fixed and everything. But I'm here. I usually have new stuff up at 11 a.m. That's Obscuria Monday through Friday, and other stuff on the weekend, 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Saturday Night Disco Party at 11 p.m. on Saturday. And so I hope that you guys will check me out at TKR Video Central and check out. I have a couple things up, but not everything's up yet, but I do have a couple of shows up on TKR Mixcloud. So please check that out as well. What about you, Dawn? I know one thing you do.
Yeah. Hit it.
I know one thing you do.
Yeah,
I know that one thing you do because I spend too much money at it.
I know, right? Yes, Anne Marie's asking, can you donate to someone in the chat? Yes, if you want to win it, to try to win it, and if you win it, you can donate it to your person of your choice, as long as you're in the U.S. There you go. So yeah, Whatnot. TC, you spend enough money there, but I appreciate you, and I'm glad I keep finding things you want.
Oh,
right?
I love stuff I get. Yeah.
So we do Whatnot on Tuesday nights, guys. We play the 45s directly through the sound card on the computer, so you get to hear what they sound like. We do a pylon as well, but we don't play those, but you do get a hell of a deal. We started at $5. It's for an hour on Tuesday at 7. Please come check us out. And then also we do Chick Chat Tuesdays and Thursdays, noon Eastern time on YouTube. And we are doing Thursday is Estate Sale Bingo, where we get to have fun and critique people's photographic skills and the stuff they're selling. But it's also fun because we have a bingo card you can generate and play along with us. And let's see, Patrick is still the reigning champion, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Greg won last week, didn't he?
No, I thought Greg came in second.
Oh, okay.
Patrick won first. So yeah, Patrick still has bragging rights. And but also what I'm doing is, because I have to play grade so many records and we play grade everything we sell, we're doing a Sunday random 45 play, and that hits at noon. So about an hour or so of music. You get to hear the records I'm playing that I'm going to bring either to Whatnot or whatever. So that's kind of fun because you never know what you're going to hear. And then on Wednesday, we do a show or a upload that's called Weird Album Wednesday. Can't wait for that. I think you're going to be interested, TC, in this next one. And then Friday, we're playing albums from our very own record collection. So there you have it. That's what we're doing. We're doing a lot of stuff. Plus, I'm doing this. In 2 weeks, it'll be live on our channel, Two Hip Chicks. So TC and I will be coming back.
Yep. In 2 weeks, we will have a special guest. We will be joined by Beth from Miss 80s Movies and Music. We're going to talk horror soundtracks for the first of 2 Halloween themed shows. I have
not enough Halloween or not enough horror movie soundtracks, but I do have some, so I can't wait for that show.
Yeah, that will be fun. I don't think I have that many. I'll have to look.
I have some on CD and I have a couple on vinyl, but there's some that I really enjoy. So there you go. Price and Right favorite, my pick. What? Okay, I'm going with a Price Right favorite. My pick is $1. I don't know what he means by that. Dude.
I don't either, Patrick.
Pick a number. Anyway. Get your numbers in, guys. Last shot. Here we go.
Okay.
You're going to get he's going with 1. I see what he's saying. I see what he's saying. All right. So, TC, everybody, this is your shot. We're done now. You've picked your numbers. We have some numbers in the chat. I see 15. I see 1. I see 17. I see 19. I see 18. Okay. What's your number, TC?
All right. We said without going over, you had to get the closest.
Yep.
And the number is...
I can't see it because it's green.
12. Which means Patrick.
Oh my God.
Closest without going over.
Patrick?
Everybody else went over. I'm sitting here thinking everybody's over. Oh, God.
Everybody is over. Patrick, you are the winner, sir. I will get this to you. Plus, if you want, I will get you a download of it as well. I know, evil genius that went for a 1. He's played The Price is Right before, obviously. Thank you, Patrick. You get this. This is coming to you, sweetie. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming in tonight. We so appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Please go check out Carpenters on your favorite streaming service, or check them out on YouTube or whatever. Because there's some
because they're there. Trust me.
They're there. Some of them I've uploaded. There you go. Yep. There you go. So thank you very much.
Oh yeah, don't forget most of Dawn's upload stuff. That's the album stuff that she does, and the 45 play. You get those early if you're a member of Two Hip Chicks. So go over and join. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell them about that. Thank you for that. Yeah, I try to pump them out early for you guys so you can get a little preview before everybody else. Thank you. It's fun getting them early. I know, right? It is. Plus you get, like today, you got videos of cats being, at the vet. So members only stuff happens. But thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, TC, again for having me. And I know it's a partnership, but darn it. Yeah. It's on your channel this time. There you go. Yep. All righty. Well, everybody, we'll see you next time. Take care. Peace out. Bye-bye. Bye.